Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Title Update 1. Today we're talking about that new minigame, and one that you might be finding a bit harder than expected. It's barrel bowling, of course. As you likely know, you can earn some neat rewards between, say, 2 pendants for your weapons and your seikret, but also a consistent and reliable source of items. So it can be a really nice reliable source of those. With the ranking system, you can achieve up to an A in the barrel bowling. The challenges change and even scale as time goes on, and we're seeing quite the selection of them as they showed in Title Update 1's trailer. So how can you reliably achieve A ranks for your rolls? What are the rewards? How can you get yourself more vouchers to run it whenever you want? Let's get into it. Let's start with the main rewards that you get. There are 2 kinds. There are the pendant rewards we're about to look at, but then also a ton of different items that can be useful, as well as a title that you'll unlock when you get A rank. So the first time you actually play barrel bowling, you will unlock a pendant. Just speak with the NPC that offers you barrel bowling, and it's this one, the barrel bowling strap. This can be placed on your weapon or your off weapon, or it can also go on your seikret too. But if you do achieve an A rank, again speak with the NPC that gives you barrel bowling as an option, and you'll unlock the trophy version, which is essentially the large vase, the most valuable target that you've got in the bowling. So if you like the look of that, then you're going to need an A rank, which basically requires 500 plus score in any of the attempts. We can also see that each time that you do barrel bowling, you get rewards, even if you don't get an amazing score. These range from anything from max potions, mega barrel bombs, mega potions, traps, different kinds of well-cooked steak and trank bombs, as well as gunpowder, and probably the most important and valuable items, I'd say, are Dusts of Life and the Pick a Meal vouchers that you can get. The Dusts of Life are going to be a fantastic AoE heal for your party in online play. Meanwhile, it's a Pick a Meal voucher that I think is the most valuable thing that you could potentially get from those rewards, because if you come to the canteen here in the new hub, you can select the different types of cuisines. It's allowing you to directly force the feast instead of hoping for it, and as well as letting you pick the specific one you want. So while you normally need a meal voucher for the specific tribe that you want, the Pick a Meal vouchers allow you to go from any of them. And probably one of the most valuable at the start of Title Update 1 is going to be the Zeus option, because it gives you the carve a meal. This is an RNG chance to get an extra carve every single time that you carve. When you're hardcore farming the new materials, whether that's Mizutsune or Shia stuff, or crafting all the new weapons maybe, I'd probably want the carve a meal to enhance the amount of rewards that I'm getting from that hunt with Shia. Now, the rules of barrel bombing is very simple. You just come over to the option, the minigame, when you're in the new Grand Hub, and then press play. That will cost 1 barrel bowling voucher, and as you probably know, you get 2 goes, and the idea to achieve an A rank is to have the score of 500 or higher. To do that, it's kind of necessary to hit a bunch of these medium vases, which are worth 20 points each, and at least hit the main vase at the end once. That will give you 200 points. Obviously, there's a ton of the small vases, which are all worth 2 points each, and you can just get them kind of passively. I would not really aim for them or think about them. Now, there are obviously different kinds of layouts to the one that we're looking at here, which is kind of a straightforward one, to be honest. My advice for this is to aim so you're hitting as many medium vases as possible, while trying to hit the large vase with either your first or second roll with clear intent. Now, for layouts that are more straightforward, like this one here, you're going to need to accurately roll the bomb far enough and, well, accurately enough to hit the large vase in one of those 2 rolls. So my tips for this kind of layout where it's just the hill is to not go from the center, but actually use these arrows on the ground to position yourself. So in the center here, we can aim from the center. Cool. In this case, this would get me more medium vases aiming this way compared to going from the center with this one and hoping the barrel goes where I want. So actually on this one, we'd actually want to come to the side. And again, you can use these arrows to help you aim. So I can position myself on this arrow if I wanted. Now, for my general rule on hills like this, I aim where I'm looking for, which is the main vase, which is here. Then I aim slightly to the left or slightly to the right to help position. So if I look up, you can see things in the background. So we have this kind of bone that I can use for targeting. And I generally aim slightly to the left if I'm on the right side of the ramp, or slightly to the right if I'm on the left side. And then I just let it rip, even when aiming up high. The barrel is unreliable at the best of times. Sometimes it just bounces in a strange way, but as you can see on my first try, we've got a score of nearly 400 there. So I only need 130 or less than that actually to get an A rank right now. So in this case, what I would do is I would get my second bomb. So we have the first arrow, the center arrow. Again, it'd be nice to hit this, but I'm trying to hit as many as possible. So I'd rather roll through maybe all of these, aiming for these guys there. So I'd aim at my target, which would be this guy. And then I'll look up and slightly to the right. So maybe I'll just aim like at this and then send it flying. And hopefully we managed to hit the barrels that I'm aiming for. Unfortunately, I went more towards the center than I would have liked. And we've rolled straight at the center vase. So I've actually not achieved an A rank on that on what was a really easy roll. Iconic. But I hope this kind of explains the theory here. When you've just got the downwards hills that don't have shelves or rocks in the way, positioning yourself slightly off center using the arrows, then aiming at your main target, whatever that is down at the bottom, and aiming slightly to its left or slightly to its right, seems to give me the consistent straight shot results that I'm looking for. Now, naturally, it's not 100% every time it's barrel bowling. You may have found, like I have, that the barrels suddenly choose new rules at random. Like suddenly they turn at crazy times or even explode early in some cases. Ultimately, if you follow these rules from my experience, it goes where you're aiming correctly, often enough that it's reliable. You can see through many shots that I'm able to get that nice straight shot in the way that I've described in most of my throws, so hopefully you can recreate that. But that's for a more straightforward layout where you're just kind of going downhill and you need to do some aiming. For less straightforward layouts, you might need to think outside of the box, like this one that Josh was doing. As you can see, you need to roll the barrel off the terrain using the momentum and the angle to turn the barrel the correct way. By actually aiming at the side of the track, we can roll the barrel up and across these walls, changing that angle to roll right where we need it to. The tip on this then is the medium vases and their positions. That's the giveaway. They want you to be able to do this in a consistent way and they want you to reach A rank. So they placed 2 medium vases to indicate these side walls and how you should actually aim at those vases to successfully roll the barrel at the correct angle and roll off the wall like so. Future layouts that are going to be a bit more complicated are going to be using these kind of tricks and indicators to help you. So pay attention. Are there any strangely positioned vases that if you actually aim for, it creates actually a good result? Pay attention, make use of them. But yeah, there's going to be lots of different examples of layouts seemingly updated every day. But I hope these general rules and advice can help you. But a big part of this, of course, is to actually play barrel bowling, you're going to need the barrel bowling voucher. I've got 23 here, but you can infinitely farm these. It's not exactly a limited thing, which is a huge relief if you know what to do. So the first and obvious way to get this would be a daily login. So once a day, you can log in and open the game, and you'll just get rewards for opening it. That's usually lucky vouchers and maybe a relevant consumable, but now that includes barrel bomb vouchers. So at least once a day you get a ticket, but again, there's way better methods. Starting with trading is a great reliable way that you can actually farm out these vouchers. So by speaking with Nata as usual, you go to item trade and the NPC at the bottom, Seka, is the one that you want. Here you might get offered barrel bowling vouchers. And as you can see, this is offering 1 goblet weed for 1 voucher, but I can buy up to 3 in this case, and that's an easy trade. You can hyper farm those goblet weeds, no problem, as I'm about to show you. But as you can see, you can also trade for chalice weed as well, where we get multiple vouchers per trade instead. As usual, if it's not there, then you can just rest and refresh the stock and options. Or if you've made the trade, you can rest and refresh to get more immediately if that's what you want. But here's a quick guide on how to infinitely farm chalice weed and goblet weed super effectively and efficiently. First up, I need to recommend an equipment set, the buffing and gathering set. What you want is geologist the skill, at least level 2. As you can see, it means you additionally get 1 extra item when gathering special items. Special items are the items that you use to trade, and both the chalice weed and goblet weed are tagged as special items. So by having at least 2 levels of geologist, you will get an extra reward, leading to more trading more consistently. So at least slap on a gathering set before you do this. To get these, you just need to head to the Scarlet Forest, and there's 2 areas that I strongly recommend you go to. Firstly would be Area 6, where you can set up a pop-up camp. In this little hidden away area, there's actually 3 nodes of exactly those weeds. If you want to find them on the map though, you can pull up the map and go to Filter Icons, go to Gathering, and then if we go down to the Special Items section, we have the Glass Algae, which is basically what we're looking for with chalice and goblet weed. So you can see that there's 3 right next to us at this location, but there's also an absolute pile of them in another location I'll show you in a sec. So let's pick up these 3. Again, this is in Area 6, the Flowering Rocks, hidden away over here if you need the entrance for it. The actual location of these weeds is inside the cave, and you just need to pop into the water like so and have a look. And as you can see, there are 3 spawns of them right here. So we got 2 goblet weed there, we got 2 goblet weed again, and then on this last one we got, well, I can't see because that's in the way, 2 more goblet weed. Okay, cool. So that's 3 easy locations of those. And also down here, occasionally there can be an ancient wyvern coin if you are interested, so it's worth coming here just for that. The next location is actually under the Woodward hideout. There's a couple helpful pop-up camp locations for this farm. I like area 12 at the northeast, so let's head on over. As you can see, we're near the Woodward hideout. There it is. And you just come around to the right and go through and under the waterfall to come to the secret area. On the way, we can get some fossils if you really want. But basically, you just jump into here and that's where they all are. Down here is quite a few different kinds of trading things. It's also a great source of guild points if you're after that. As you can see, we can aim at them like that and pick them up, no problem. And it's the green ones that we care about most, because that's where we're getting the algae from. However, be aware that you can hold L2, press up and down on the D-pad, and then select what you're aiming for, what you want, and it'll just grab it automatically, instead of having to manually aim like we were doing earlier. Anyway, over here, there's at least 3 spawns of the potential weed pickups, like the other one. So per map, you can pick up at least 6 of them and roll the dice 6 times, which is nice. But you might be thinking, okay, cool, I can pick up 6 of them per run, but there's still that awkward timer. So as you can see, it has a 15-minute reset on all these special item pickups. So what, you just come back in 15 minutes? No, you can do it infinitely, immediately with this simple trick. So we're in the Scarlet Forest, let's pick any other locale and just teleport to it. Now that we're in this other locale, let's go back to the Scarlet Forest, and I'll pick the area 6 because it has those 3 nodes right next to each other immediately. Now we're reloading into the Scarlet Forest. Let's open up the map and have a look at those 3 spawns, which are no longer on that 15-minute cooldown, but instantly back and refreshed. So you do not need to wait for this. In fact, it could be argued that you don't even need to go to the Woodward one. Here, you're able to get the specific 3 goblet weed spawns, or potentially, if you're lucky, the better one. Oh look, another wyvern coin, just like that. Amazing. And there's the 3rd one, loads of goblet weed. So I've got like an infinite source of that trade material, good guild point farm right there, all next to one pop-up camp. So I can immediately just go to another locale, refresh, come back, pick those up again. The other aspect of this then will be the supply ship, which shows up sometimes in the Windward Plains base camp. Be aware that this will show up and last like a little while, say 3 refreshes before it leaves, and you will need to request specific stuff. So I actually bought from this already. I'm under medicinal purchases, so lots of useful consumables, and so it's not actually offering what we care about. What you need to do is request goods, misc items, because as you can see, it's comprised of special items and trade-in items, which is what we're after. So let me do a few refreshes, bring back the supply ship with the new stock, and I'll show you. All right, so after quite a few resets, more than I thought, we actually have it. And that's obviously going to weigh into my advice on this, but here they are finally showing up. We have the barrel bowling vouchers. You have 50 points per voucher, but in this case, what's pretty incredible about the support ship here is that you can buy 10 of them at once. So obviously that's going to cost 500 points, which is not that expensive. It's literally, I mean, in title update 1 singular rest, and then you have 10 more vouchers. So that's pretty amazing. But because of how inconsistent this was in my experience today, I can't say that you should be rest spamming so that you can find these vouchers from the support ship. I would say that when it's up, you just check, does it have any vouchers? It's easily a great way to get a bunch of them. But I wouldn't hardcore grind for these. Instead, I would go about the trade route where Seka is often offering those trades. Of course, not this time when I say that. Where I'm able to get a few of these vouchers easily and infinitely repeat that farm for the different weeds that they're looking to trade without having to do a load of refreshes, spend a load of guild points, and kind of waste a lot of time. So overall, how do I feel about this new minigame? I think it's an awesome addition. Really cool mechanically to make the most out of a new gameplay feature like this whole barrel throwing concept and aiming. It's a really clever idea. Now the best comparison we have for something like this is all the way back in Iceborne, a minigame you could enjoy or engage with at least. The kind of Steam machine. I never really enjoyed engaging with this thing for whatever reason. The idea is that you've got 3 buttons and you just press them in the right order and it tells you the order and you just kind of do it. It felt very mindless, very repetitive, kind of reminded me of those gambling machines with a lot less RNG and a lot more boring. So I didn't enjoy this at all, certainly not compared to the barrel bowling. Barrel bowling takes a noticeable amount of skill, the rewards are tied to your performance, and that certainly helps because it's fun and varied. Is it worth doing barrel bowling regularly or like hardcore farming it? Well, for the fun of it, it's absolutely worth doing. I like the idea of coming back each day or every other day and seeing what the new layout is. Now, the rewards aren't insane, just useful, especially for multiplayer hunts, like the dust for healing your allies, which can be very useful in like Shia and SOS flares, where people are about to be smashed and you heal them through those tight moments, that's for sure. Otherwise, yeah, the rewards aren't insane, they're just fine, nice to have. But if it was more consistent at providing those vouchers to allow you to pick a feast meal you want, let's say when you get A rank, or say the first time you get an A rank on that new course, or first A rank of the day, then you always get one pick a meal voucher, that'd be a great incentive for that concept. So I'd love to see something like that in the future. But there you have it, that's my little overview of the new barrel bowling minigame. If you guys have any extra advice for aiming or A rank help, or maybe methods to get yourself more easy vouchers beyond what we talked about today, then you can let us know in the comments. Until next time then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.